Hey there, welcome to Watch Recap, and today, I am going to recap a 2017 horror, thriller movie called Stillborn. Okay, so let's start. The movie begins with Mary in a hospital with her husband Jack, struggling to deliver her baby. Fortunately, she delivers her first baby boy, but when the second boy was delivered, doctors tell Mary that the second baby is a stillborn. In the next scene, we see Mary trying to feed his baby boy in a room with 2 cribs. Jack comes inside the room and comforts Mary as it's revealed that she's still hesitant to dispose the second crib which he bought for his second baby boy. Later, the family is shown living a happy life despite of everything they've been through in the new house that Jack's company gifted him. Jack leaves for work and Mary stays at home doing the household. At one point, Mary realized that the lights above the stairs turns on automatically as soon as someone goes closer. Mary then takes her baby out for a walk, where she come across Rachel. Rachel is also a mother, so she invites Mary to have fun sometimes. Mary welcomes the idea happily. The next day, Mary was sitting alone while she hears her baby crying through her baby monitor. She goes closer and hears 2 babies crying at the same time through the monitor. She goes to check, but there was nothing suspicious. She comforts her baby and convinces herself that it was just an illusion of her mind. Later, while having dinner, Mary tells Jack about what happened and she needs an advanced baby monitor. Jack agrees but asks Mary to dispose the second crib as a deal. She walks off. Later, the couple is seen to be happy, as Jack has bought Mary an advanced baby monitor through which she can actually see the baby on a CCTV camera inside the room. During midnight, Mary wakes up to the sound of her baby crying. She checks on the monitor and was scared to death when she saw a woman approaching the crib. She rushes towards the room and sees that her baby Adam is fine. Later by the lake, Mary and Rachel are smoking while sharing their life problems. Mary then goes on a playdate at Rachel's house. She notices a same baby monitor there, and thinks that if the CCTV signals got mixed last night and she actually just saw Rachel on the monitor. Rachel agrees and says this happens. At home, Jack tells Mary that he will have to go out of town for a business trip. She sadly says she will be okay behind his back. The next day, Jack notices a strange birthmark on the baby's thigh, but ignores it. That night, Mary wakes up to the sound of her baby crying. She goes to check, and kept baby Adam in her arms until he falls asleep, but, as she put the baby back in the crib, she hears a baby chuckle behind her. She looks behind and finds a dead baby. She's shocked, but gathers herself to look again. This time, there is nothing in the crib. Typical horror movie stuff, you know. Next day, Jack takes her to the therapist. After she tells him everything she felt at home, the therapist concludes that she's just suffering from postpartum depression. He advises her to take out the second crib and gives her some antidepressants. She, as advised, dismembered the crib when she got home. Few days later, Jack sets up many CCTV cameras around the house. Mary argues with him, asking if he doesn't trust her anymore, but Jack convinces her that it's just for her and baby's safety whenever he's out on business trips. She says goodbye with a heavy heart to Jack as he leaves for an important business trip for 2 weeks. At night, when Mary and baby is alone in the house, the windows of Adam's room breaks in a flash. She wakes up to the noise and rushes towards the room. She checks if Adam is safe. The next day, she called the cops to investigate about the incident. They mistake it with a gang trying to break into the house, which Mary knows clearly is not the case, but she stays quiet. At night, a storm rages outside as Mary watches the CCTV footage to investigate herself about last night. She's shocked to see a horrific figure trying to break into Adam's room through the window. She searches the internet for this and finds about a lady named Jane, who claims that a demon stole her child. Reading further, she realizes that everything is happening the same way it happened to Jane's baby. At Rachel's home, Mary shares everything that is happening to her. She then searches again for the location of Jane and found it. She then, as a mother who wants his baby to be safe, reaches out to Jane as soon as possible. At Jane's home, Jane shows Mary the book in which the demon who takes the baby is described. She shares how she felt like when her baby was taken away from her. She plays a recording of that night when she confronted the demon trying to steal her baby. The demon says, "The baby is mine." Then Jane stops the recording, saying it makes her weak. Jane tells Mary that if she wants to protect her baby, she then must find some other baby for the demon to take. Mary stays quiet. Mary then takes the book and recording with her and goes home. Later that night, Mary can't sleep to the thought of being watched by the demon. The next morning, While she was on a video call with her mother, suddenly, the laptop lags and she saw a scary figure instead. Scared of this, she shuts the laptop and walks away, spending the rest of the day reading about the demon who steals babies, until she falls asleep on the couch. Soon, she wakes up to a scary sound coming from the old monitor she hadn't used in a while. The demon greets her through the monitor. She asks the demon why she wants her baby, but we didn't got the answer as the scene shifts to Mary stressing out in the bathroom. Poor mother only wants his son to be safe. Later at night, Mary woke up to a strange sound. She takes out a knife and goes to check. She hides as she sees the stair lights turning on, because that will happen only when someone is coming up. She attacks the figure, but it turned out to be Jack, wrapping arms around his poor wife. He believes that his wife's mental state is now completely degraded. The next day, after Jack left for work, Mary, while giving a bath to her baby, hears Jack calling her to open the door for him. She gets out to see, but then, she's locked out of the bathroom by something unknown. She tries to get in but fails. Worried about her baby, she goes out to ask for help, but when no one came, she takes out an axe from a car, and tries to break the bathroom door. She looked inside, but the sight of a demon trying to take her baby terrifies her. She then finally confronts the demon and asks her to leave her baby alone, after which she was pushed off the cliff. She wakes up next to Jack in a hospital, where Jack shows her the CCTV footage of things which never actually happened. Mary tries to defend herself by saying that the demon changed the footage, but Jack hardly believes her now. He left the monitor for her to see Adam from the hospital, and takes Adam back to home with him. After putting the baby to sleep, Jack opens the door for Rachel. They hook up later. Mary is shocked, but is more concerned about her son, so switches it to Adam's room. She sees the demon approaching her baby. She dashes toward her house, leaving the hospital. Not finding Jack or the baby, she cries, but notices Rachel enjoying at a Halloween party. She approaches her and accuses her of sleeping with her husband. Rachel takes her inside to talk, but she screams and cries for her baby. Rachel goes outside for help. At this moment, Mary heard Rachel's baby crying and decides to kill Rachel's baby in order to save her baby. Becoming the very demon she's trying to fight, she takes the baby with her and locks herself inside her house. Everyone shouts at her from the window while she puts the baby on the floor and tries to kill him. Out of guilt, she cries, but will do it anyway to save his son. Rachel calls Jack and puts on speaker. Convinced that it's not Jack but the demon disguised as him with the baby, she raises her arms going for the kill, but was shot by an officer to protect the baby. Returning home, Jack finds his wife laying dead on the floor with a knife in her hands. Some time has passed. Jack is now taking care of the baby alone. Putting the baby into the crib, he goes downstairs and thinks about his wife Mary. While trying to figure out what actually happened, he played the recording of Mary asking the demon to leave her baby alone. The demon actually said to sacrifice someone else's baby to save her own son. At this point, Jack cries out of guilt, but then, he notices the lights turning on. Knowing what might happen, he goes upstairs and looks into the crib. We never got to see what happened after this, but now, let me explain what actually happened. From the very beginning, the demon tried to steal the baby, but wanting to make Mary a demon was also her evil desire. Rachel and Jack never hooked up. It was all an illusion created by the demon to make Mary behave like that. At the end, the demon finally succeeded in taking the baby, and Jack sees nothing inside the crib. This is where the movie ends. Subscribe to the channel if you love movies, like and share the video, we appreciate it. See you again.